Hi, I'm Kat, and today I have for you a true crime case, also a word in Romanian, and I will also be doing my makeup at the same time. So the word in Romanian for today is Carolina de Nord. Carolina de Nord. Carolina de Nord. Well done, guys, you just said North Carolina. I want to start with the missing person information because it's important for everyone to keep an eye out for Madalina. Madalina Cojocari, which is the proper way of pronouncing the name, was last seen at home in Cornelius, North Carolina on the evening of November 23rd, 2022 and has not been seen since. She was reported missing to her school on December 15, 2022. Madalina was last seen wearing jeans, pink, purple and white Adidas shoes and a white t-shirt and jacket. If you have any information concerning the whereabouts of Madalina Cojocari, please contact the Cornelius Police Department at 704-892-7773. 704-892-7773. You may also contact your local FBI office, the nearest American embassy or consulate, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. You can also submit a tip anonymously. Madalina went missing 22 days before being reported missing, and it wasn't by her mother or stepfather, but by the school she was attending. And you know what, I'm going to say it from the get-go. When you, as a parent, don't report your child missing for 22 days, in my opinion, you are hiding something and you know exactly what happened to your child. Madalina Cojocari was born on 11th of April 2011 in Moldova, which is right on the border with Romania. Just to give you a brief history so you can understand better the position of Moldova, at one point it was part of Romania. However, during the Second World War it was captured by Russia, but then in 1991 it became independent. However, there are a lot of influences in Moldova from both Romania and Russia. People speak Romanian and they also speak Russian. In some schools, Russian is being learned, and in others, Romanian is being learned. So you basically have both Romanian and Russian influence, even though Moldova is independent. The language spoken is both Russian and Romanian. It's like Moldova is Romania's sister, if you like. At the time she went missing, Madalina was 11 years old, and although being born in Moldova, she moved to the US with her mother, Diana Cojocari. About Diana, we know that she was once married in Moldova, but things didn't quite work out. She then divorced, and sometime later she was in another relationship when she fell pregnant. But that relationship didn't work either. However, she left the relationship with the toddler Madalina. Sadly, we don't have any information about Madalina's biological father. Madalina and her mom, they seem to have a really loving relationship. Diana seemed to really care for her daughter. There were a lot of photos being shared on social media by her mother. It seems that Madalina was a quiet and shy girl, but she loved horses, ice cream and being outdoors. She was really intelligent, very caring and loving, and really a very beautiful young girl with a bright future ahead. According to a Romanian journalist, Diana's family are well-off people in Moldova, musicians and with a production company of their own as well, but we'll get later into that in more detail. In 2014, concerned about her own weight, Diana joined a weight loss competition where her goal was to lose the extra weight she gained during her pregnancy and after, especially because she was ready to find a husband and she wanted to make sure that she has just the perfect body to find the perfect man. It seems that during this show she met Christopher Palmiter online. He was from the US and she was from Moldova, but Christopher was more than 20 years older than Diana. In fact, more than 30 years older. It all happened very sudden because at the beginning of the show, which lasted for around 5 weeks, Diana mentioned that she wanted to lose weight to find a husband. However, 1 week later, after she was eliminated from the show, she already said in the show that Christopher proposed to her after he visited her in Moldova and they will get married in spring. I'm not sure in which month of 2014 the show took place, but the marriage proposal and her accepting it was very quick. Too quick, I would say. So whilst I was researching this case, I actually came across a lot of people who really wanted to hear what Diana had to say in this show, but because the show is in Romanian, they couldn't really understand. So what I did is I translated the show for you guys apart from the parts in Russian, because quite honestly I don't know Russian, and it's about 5 minutes long, so don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch an hour-long one. In this video you can also see Diana with Madalina when she was around 3 years old, I think, and I'm going to play the video for you with my translated subtitles if YouTube won't give me a copyright issue. I think that this is the best way for me to do it rather than, you know, doing a voiceover, because this way you can hear Diana speak and read her body language as well.
Următoarea participantă, Diana Cojocari. Instructorul Olga Krasneanskaya, filiala Star Studio. Felicitări! Felicitări!
Sunt Diana Cojocari, am 29 de ani și 87 de kilograme. La 22 de ani am fost căsătorită, dar din păcate am divorțat. Apoi a urmat un concubinaj din care am rămas cu un copil de 3 ani și din păcate nu a mers nici această relație. Și acum vreau să-mi reiau viața de la capăt, să încep o viață nouă, cu forțe noi, să-mi readuc aminte de cum eram mai tânără și mai crezut în forțele proprii. Greutatea care o am acum e chiar supărătoare și dă bătăi de cap, începând cu garderoba și terminând cu probleme de sănătate, și aș vrea să scap de ele cât mai curând, să mă reangajez, să devin o mică fericită și sper să încep o relație nouă cu un nou partener de viață. Am toate șansele să o fac, dar vreau să fiu în forma necesară. Zonele problematice care mă supără cel mai mult sunt burta, fesele, coapsele, deci silueta, într-un cuvânt, lipsește și atunci mi-aș dori să fie acea siluetă de invidiat, acea siluetă ca nu numai domnii, dar poate și doamnele să se întoarcă în urma mea atunci când merg eu pe stradă. Sigur, mi-aș dori să scap de kilogramele în plus, ca atunci când merg pe stradă sau merg la grădiniță să-mi iau copilul, să nu mă jenez, să mă ascund așa într-o scurtă mai largă, asemenea unii doamne de 40-50 de ani. Și așa cum fac parte din proiectul Slăbește Sănătos, vreau să fiu învingătoare și să ajung la cele 60 de kilograme mult dorite. Sper să mă votați pe unica.md, sezonul 5, Slăbește Sănătos.
Acum o săptămână a fost jumătatea mea de peste hotare din America și mi s-a făcut o propunere în căsătorie și am acceptat. Și sunt foarte bucuroasă, încântată că, uite, că proiectul merge paralel cu viața mea personală, totul se aranjează, totul e bine. Acum am cea mai mare motivație, rămâne doar să slăbesc.
Prima eliminare din proiect, instructoarele își susțin participantele, dar vin și cu unele dezvăluiri despre comportamentul lor timp de 5 săptămâни.
Как участница и как могу сказать, что она относится серьезно.
Eu pe mine pot să mă găsesc vinovată, pe altcineva nu prea. Nici nu pot să spun, nu știu, chiar nu știu. Deci 1.0 și 7 și aici avem 87. Pe parcursul unei săptămâni nu ai slăbit niciun milimetru. De ce, Diana?
Nu știu, am avut un eveniment.
Așa.
Am mai lipsit de la antrenamente săptămâna asta, adică recunosc.
Diana a slăbit puțin, dar dacă va continua tot în același regim, deci 6 kg pe 5 săptămâni este norma de a slăbi.
Rezultatele vorbesc de la sine. Nu a fost o o surpriză nici pentru ea. Diana Cojocari este prima concurentă eliminată chiar din prima etapă. Incredibil de vină a fost dragostea.
Dar e la primăvară, dar până atunci oricum.
Aceste 5 săptămâni, Diana a fost cerută în căsătorie. Evident, acest eveniment frumos din viața ei a furat tot timpul liber, motiv pentru care viitoarea mireasă nu a mai ajuns la sală. Acum însă are un motiv în plus să slăbească de sine stătător ca să fie o mireasă suplă și frumoasă.
Diana, îți pare rău că ai pierdut cursa? Nu-mi pare rău pentru că știu că oricum am să slăbesc și nu mă opresc aici, merg înainte, chiar și câte 6 kg și ceva pe lună, oricum e un rezultat. Și voi merge înainte, sper că în fiecare lună cu rezultate nu mai mici. Sper că nu ești supărată pe mine.
Supărată. Eu știu, pur și simplu, noi am avut un pic greșeli în alimentație, cum am spus și înainte, dar eu sper că noi să mergem mai departe, noi nu ne-am pierdut, noi mergem înainte și să ajungem la rezultate care dorim. Noi avem alt scop acum, deja pregătim de notă.
Da. Promit că vin și eu pe podium cu celelalte fete peste 3 luni cu rezultate bune.
What I noticed in this video, apart from the few clips of Diana and Madalina, Diana's interest seems to be for her to lose weight so she can get a husband. I've not heard mention of her daughter or how she's doing this for her health so she can be there for her daughter. You know, having struggled myself over a very long time with my weight, I wanted to lose weight for my health so that I can be there for my children. And after this show, it seems like Diana became more and more obsessed with losing weight, what to eat, healthy supplements, healthy living, and so on, judging by her Facebook posts, which is not necessarily a bad thing. However, it seemed that she was obsessing over it a bit too much. But something happened because her Facebook posts became darker and darker. There are a lot of videos in Romanian and Russian where I actually had to use Google Voice Translate to get an idea of what she's on about. And you know, in most of these videos, she talks about spiritual stuff, about alignment, about chakras, how you can ascend, how to cleanse your soul, very cult-like stuff. But there was a video in particular in English where she agrees with violence and she says that you should embrace violence and all those kind of things. Very, very weird stuff. And these posts align with her move to the US. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of gives me Lori Vallow vibes, if I'm honest. I'm really hoping that I'm wrong on this, but I don't know, something is just really off.
Is something wrong of being violent? It is nothing wrong. It is just a crude way of conducting life. If you say violence is bad, that means you will end up rejecting a part of yourself and you can never get rid of it because it will not go. It will come out in so many ways. People are very peaceful on the streets, but pretty violent at home. If they are not capable of physical violence, they are verbally violent, or they are violent in their thoughts or emotions, or so many other ways. So rejecting violence, it's not going to work. Evolving violence into a more sophisticated action, it is a need. The need is not for violence, and we people must understand. The need is for the intensity of this feeling, the feeling of being intense. The need for that intensity is always that there, somewhere inside you, stays that intensity, the need of expressing yourself, that special part of you in every human being. If you do not refine that need for intensity, manifesting yourself in your special manner,
and manage to experience that intensity by simply sitting in the meditativeness, by simply going into the moment of your perfect happiness. Remember the moments when you were perfectly happy in your childhood. By going into this kind of meditation, that will help you bring into the present moment, wherever you are, whatever you do, just by sitting in the meditation and bringing that peace from your childhood, and the moment when you are perfectly happy will make you change your ways, will help you calm down, will help you feel better, secure, and right where you are supposed to be. You'll find peace into your heart, into your mind, into your soul, and that will help you recreate, reorganize your life, and put that intensity that is in you into a positive manner. This is the moment of the perfect happiness. Remember that moment and always protect it. Appreciate God and tell God that you are thankful for having this possibility of being yourself.
So let's just say that Diana and Christopher, they get married between 2014 and 2015, right? By 2017, Diana and Madalina are already living in the US, in Cornelius, North Carolina, in a 4-bedroom house which Diana and Christopher bought for almost $500,000, cash down, I believe. A North Carolina resident, Christopher Palmiter, who is now 60 years old, 37 years older than Diana, worked as a mechanical designer at the industrial machinery manufacturer Ingersoll Rand, according to his LinkedIn profile. Before his employment at Ingersoll Rand, he worked for Troy Design, Prince Manufacturing, Aerotech, and BE Aerospace. So I think it's safe to say that he earned quite some money. Before getting arrested, he worked as a mechanical designer at Ingersoll Rand, and he also had an engraving company, a design firm if you will, called Christopher James Studios, doing engravings for veterans, I think. You won't be able to find this page now because his Facebook page has vanished. Surprise, surprise, it's been disabled. Allegedly, when he was younger, Christopher was in the army and he was really struggling with trauma or PTSD, because it seems that he is part of a lot of groups which deal with army veterans' trauma and PTSD. However, this is not confirmed, but it could also explain his engraving company. Madalina was last seen on November 21st, 2022, getting off a school bus and vanished on November 23rd, according to her mother, Diana. Although the dates are not so clear because there are a lot of contradictions, as you will learn later on. On the day of her disappearance, allegedly, Diana had an argument with Christopher, who, in anger, took off to Michigan that evening to get some belongings from his family home. You need to keep in mind though that this was on Thanksgiving, so it's very strange that Christopher would choose to travel so far to be away from the family when I guess the whole purpose of Thanksgiving is to spend time with your loved ones. 3 days later, on November 26th, Christopher returned home to North Carolina and Diana told him that Madalina was missing. But Diana didn't report Madalina's disappearance until almost 3 weeks later, on December 15th, apparently according to her, because she was scared of Christopher's reaction. Christopher told police that he last saw Madalina 1 week before she disappeared. Again, I find this very strange because they lived in the same house and it wasn't really like a mansion where you would have so much space that you would miss each other. It was just a 4-bedroom house. Yeah, it was a big house, but it was a 4-bedroom house. Surely they would have, you know, bumped into each other during dinner or even when just relaxing in the living room. I just find this odd. It's really, really odd. It seems to me like Christopher, he's trying to give himself an alibi by going to Michigan. Diana said that Madalina's backpack and some of her clothing were missing from the home. She also told police that Madalina doesn't have any friends that she would stay with, and being from Moldova, she didn't have any family in the area, which again, it's very weird because I found some photos on a Facebook group of their house at Christmas. I think it was sometime around 2018, 2019. So it was their house at Christmas where you can see inside the house, probably in the living room, you can see the stockings. One stocking hanging is for Christopher, one for Diana, one for Madalina, and another one for Octavian. Octavian is actually a Romanian name, so it wouldn't be anyone related to Christopher, but rather Diana's side of the family. I don't know, maybe that it's her brother. Anyway, I think that is someone connected to her and someone which suggests was either living with them at that time or they were visiting at Christmas. Then there is another possibility that perhaps Diana does have family in the US, maybe not in Cornelius, but in the US. Diana also told police that she was in touch with family in Moldova telling them Madalina is missing, and they advised her to contact the police to report it, but she still didn't do it. She told her family in Moldova that Madalina is missing 10 days after she went missing. Madalina had been attending Bailey Middle School, and when she didn't show up for a few weeks to school, despite a number of calls from her school in the following weeks, no one was notified that Madalina was missing. On 12th of December, a school resource officer went to Madalina's home with a counselor. Although trying several times, they got no answer at the door, so they decided to leave a truancy packet. A truancy packet, if you are not aware, is actually absences a child is allowed at school before an intervention is done by the school. Maybe, I don't know, family support to ensure that the child can get to school. You can also be held as a parent legally responsible for absences or fined. It's really dependent on circumstance and also the state that you are in. On December 14, Diana called the school counselor and told her that she would bring Madalina into school the next day, already knowing that Madalina was missing. So how was she going to pull that off? I have no idea. At that meeting, obviously turning up without Madalina, Diana told the resource officer that Madalina had in fact been missing for weeks and was last seen entering her room to go to bed at around 10 p.m. on November 23rd. She also told the school officials that she and her husband argued that night, causing him to drive to his family home in Michigan to collect his belongings. According to the arrest report, Madalina's school counselor called the police to the building and encouraged Diana to report her daughter missing. Even then, it wasn't Diana who took the initiative to report Madalina missing. She was actually being pushed by the school. And I really think that if the school wouldn't have checked on Madalina, we would probably not even know that she's missing. Honestly, the school did their job, and thanks to them, the whole world now knows that Madalina is missing and awareness is being brought to her case. So people can, keep an eye out and hopefully find her safe and sound. It was at 11:30 a.m. on November 24th that Diana said she went to check on Madalina to find that she was no longer in her bedroom. When Christopher returned at 7 p.m. on November 26th, Diana told police that she asked if he knew where Madalina was, and he told her he didn't. According to their arrest records, Christopher asked Diana if she knew where Madalina was, and she said that she didn't. Diana asked Christopher if he was hiding Madalina. He said that he wasn't, and then asked if she was, and she said that she wasn't. I mean, it's all very strange, and as you will see, a lot of conflicting information with the dates. I mean, it's just is just massive. Madalina Cojocari and Christopher Palmiter have been arrested and charged with failing to report Madalina's disappearance in a timely manner. Authorities had probable cause for arresting them because of the circumstances surrounding Madalina's disappearance, namely the 3-week delay before she was reported missing. The FBI is helping the Cornelius Police Department with the search for Madalina. The FBI are leading the search, and the spokesman said, quote, "There's nothing we won't do to find her." End of quote. Cornelius Police Department wrote on Facebook, quote, "As part of the normal investigative process, we are expanding our search area outside of the home where Madalina was last seen, and that now includes Lake Cornelius. We are conducting additional land and water searches as a precautionary measure." End of quote. Retired FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker, who is not involved in the case, said that the statements give the kinds of inconsistency detectives are looking for. Police also carried out a thorough search of their home and were seen digging up the front yard with shovels. It's not clear whether they found anything of interest. They are also searching neighbors' properties trying to find Madalina.
Breaking right now from Queen City News.
And first at 6, we begin with that breaking news. Police are at the home of Madalina Cojocari in Cornelius right now, and she's the 11-year-old girl who has been missing for over a month now. Good evening, I'm Brian Blakely. And this comes as Madalina Cojocari's mother and stepfather are still in jail tonight, facing charges for not filing a report. But new court documents show her mother had some concerns in the time leading up to Madalina's disappearance. Specifically, she says she believed her husband was putting her family in danger. All this information coming out as the FBI is now bringing a lot more attention to this case. I want to get right out to Queen City News anchor Derek Dellinger, live tonight at the home in Cornelius. And Derek, there are a lot of new developments in this case, but what's the latest on why police are out at Madalina's home right now?
Quite frankly, that is something we are still trying to figure out tonight. This has been a day of very significant developments. In fact, Cornelius police have been out here most of the day, going door to door, trying to talk to neighbors about some of the specifics. But just within the last hour, they have showed up here to the home of Madalina Cojocari. There's a number of police vehicles here, as well as a crime scene search van, rather. We've seen camera flashes coming up through the windows. A number of police officers are inside. As we mentioned, though, a day of significant developments. Not only is this going on, we also got our hands on court documents that show how complex this disappearance case has been, at least so far, for authorities. This is video of Diana Cojocari's first appearance before a judge.
What do you want to do about a lawyer?
A public defender, ma'am.
Okay, I'll appoint you a public defender.
One of two people facing a heavy spotlight right now for what has been a dramatic week so far. Diana Cojocari went before a judge Tuesday, but Wednesday, we got the video of this appearance and our first look at the documents that were essentially being used to arrest and charge her for failing to file a report on her daughter's disappearance. Queen City News has reported on the case, the ins and the outs. Madalina Cojocari has been missing now for a month, last seen in public on November 21st, getting off a school bus. Her mother says she was last seen at the home on November 23rd, but the next morning, Thanksgiving Day, she was nowhere to be found. And her stepfather had already left for a trip to Michigan, returning 2 days later. Court documents now say that her mother told police that a backpack and clothes were missing, but the documents also say that Diana Cojocari told police of worries that she believed that her husband, quote, put her family in danger. Christopher Palmiter is facing the same charge as his wife. Police say both were asking each other where Madalina went, and Diana, who is from the country of Moldova, had called family overseas who urged her to contact police, but she didn't for 3 weeks.
She has hindered this investigation. We have grave concerns that if she is released from custody, she will continue and more so hinder the investigation and the search for this girl.
The FBI has now called this their most wanted case of the week. After days of searching, there's still no sign of Madalina, all while a community at this point just wants to know where she is and hoping she's safe. And back out here live, you see some of what's happening out here right now outside the home of Madalina Cojocari. You see a police officer coming out from the home, and a number of police officers are still inside the home right now. Again, just in the past few minutes, we've seen a large amount of camera flashes coming from one of the rooms here. And again, this is still an active scene. We have another crew here that will be in place throughout the evening, keeping an eye on what's happening here, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit more information on some of the specifics of what's happening. Again, Cornelius Cornelius Police here at the home of Madalina Cojocari. Again, we're still trying to get some more information as to why they're out here this evening. But again, this is a significant development in this case. We're live in Cornelius. Derek Dellinger, Queen City News.
After their arrest on December 17, the two were being held at the Mecklenburg County Detention Center. Court officials said during her first court appearance that Diana hindered the investigation so far. They said she had only begrudgingly reported her daughter's disappearance to the police. During Christopher's first court appearance, prosecutors revealed that police weren't made aware that Madalina was missing until a school resource officer at Bailey Middle School sounded the alarm. Christopher's bond was increased to $200,000 after initially being held on $100,000 bond, while Diana's was set to $250,000. Diana and Christopher haven't provided any explanation for Madalina's disappearance. Diana and Christopher will be back in court on December 28 for bond hearings. If Diana posts bond, she will be required to wear an electronic monitor. Diana shared the reason why she didn't report her daughter missing for 3 weeks, according to arrest records. She apparently told the police that she believed her husband was a threat to her family. She allegedly hesitated to file a missing persons report in case her husband, Christopher, put her family in danger. She said she feared that doing so might start a conflict between her and her husband. Diana also told officers that her 11-year-old daughter Madalina didn't have a mobile phone. Both Christopher and Diana were adamant about not knowing where Madalina was when detectives went to search her room. While at the home, the detective noticed an area blocked off with plywood in the kitchen. When asked, Christopher said that the area was blocked off because they planned to build a separate apartment. Which, one, is really strange. Why would you need an apartment when you have a 4-bedroom house and, you know, it's only the 3 of you? 2, there is no planning permission being requested to build an apartment, so I don't know, it's not very believable. Across the globe, investigative journalist Josefina Pascal is researching this case from Romania. She says Madalina's case is getting some news coverage there, but not a lot. And honestly, she's right. I looked myself on Romanian news websites and there is barely anything, especially at the beginning. You would think it would be all over the news in Romania and Moldova. At this point, Madalina's case is widely covered in the US, locally, nationally, and even internationally. The case is highlighted all over TikTok, Facebook, all over social media. There are Facebook groups and pages dedicated to her with members trying to help in finding out more info. It really is just everywhere. Even on the FBI website, this is the case of the week, featured on their homepage. The Romanian journalist Josefina, she gave everything that she discovered to the FBI, and let me tell you guys, she discovered some things. She really did. I watched a live video of hers on Facebook on her page, and I want to point out some things that she said. The live is actually in Romanian, so that's why I'm not sharing it, but rather telling you what she said. It was Josefina who believes that Christopher is ex-army because of his association with various groups dealing with trauma and, ex-army PTSD and ex-army trauma in general. Christopher has a big family, allegedly, 2 brothers, 2 sisters, but the weirdest thing is that his family didn't post anything at all about Madalina, not even her missing person poster. Their social media accounts show a lot of photos being shared of their families, of other kids, events, and stuff like that. Usually whatever you share on Facebook and on social media in general, but there is nothing with Madalina, as if Madalina didn't even exist. But Madalina's step-aunt did finally decide to post something about her on 21st of December, yes, on 21st of December. Obviously, in my opinion, I think because it was already all over the news, online, everywhere really, so they probably just wanted to save face. They probably saw all the people jumping on them that they are not speaking out, and maybe they decided you know what, we have to say something. So finally they did on 21st of December. On 22nd of December, they sent a letter to police, which we'll get to in a moment. According to Josefina, the journalist, Diana's family in Moldova is quiet, saying absolutely nothing at all, nothing apart from Diana's father, who just said that he spoke with Diana, and from his understanding, something happened between Diana and Christopher, and maybe Madalina was taken by someone, kidnapped. He also said that Diana told him Christopher was very controlling and he didn't allow her to keep in touch with her family in Moldova, so they only spoke on social media when Christopher wasn't around. Basically, this is pretty much the only person who opens his mouth. Her family as well have not posted absolutely nothing publicly about Madalina. They didn't even take the initiative to contact the authorities themselves when Diana told them that Madalina was missing. 10 days after she went missing. They were told 10 days after she went missing. They could have very easily just, gone to the police there or the embassy and report her missing there, and the embassy would have contacted the authorities in the US, but they didn't. And just like Christopher's family, Diana's family have no photos of Madalina on their social media accounts. Yes, you can say that, not everyone shares photos online, but when you have two sides of the family not having any photos of Madalina, yet of other children in the family, it's kind of weird, don't you think? According to Josefina, Diana's family is very well known in Moldova. They are musicians. One of them is a music producer. They also have a band. And I've read a lot of people, saying online that her family is not that well known, which I kind of understand where they are coming from. However, we need to keep in mind that they are folk singers, so it's more of a traditional music, and even though you might not have heard of them, it doesn't mean that they are not well known in Moldova. I mean, in the end, Moldova is a very small country. As of December 2022, in fact, it has around 4 million people compared to Romania, which has over 18 million people, the US population, which is over 300 million, and the UK population over 68 million. I'm sure that you've heard of the song, which is sung by a Moldovan band, Dragostea din Tei, very similar to one of Rihanna's songs. That's because she actually bought the rights for the song. So if you have, I'm sure that you heard of it. You might not understand the lyrics of the Moldovan song, but I'm sure that you're familiar with the tune. Vrei să pleci, dar nu mă iei, nu mă iei. And that's all with my singing. I'm a horrible singer.
Vrei să pleci, dar nu mă iei, nu mă iei, nu mă iei, chipul tău și dragostea din tei, mi-amintesc de ochii tăi.
Josefina is an investigative journalist and she has her own sources, so I'm sure that, she has no reason to exaggerate, as some people say. But anyway, according to her, Diana's family in Moldova, they are part of circles which include celebrities, media personalities, journalists, politicians. They have lawyer friends, so they are connected, which means that they could have done much more in terms of spreading awareness of Madalina's disappearance and bringing it to the attention of the authorities, or at the very least sharing Madalina's story to their fan base, friends, connections, and so on, to whoever. But they did nothing. They did nothing. Diana's family is also a traditional, tight, religious family, but Diana is kind of the opposite. Like I said, she's very interested in dark stuff such as mantras, the occult, this very, cult-like stuff. The journalist Josefina was also told by a high-up source in Moldova, which she believes is very reliable, that there are some criminal networks which arrange for marriages, kind of like a male bride type of thing, with rich people, and if there are any kids involved in terms of the bride having children, the kids are taken away by these networks, a bit like part of the payment, and this source believes that this is what happened to Madalina, and Diana knows it, because this would be a deal done beforehand. I kind of feel like maybe there is some truth to this, This could be why both sides of the families are quiet. There is also a lack of interest from the families, which is suspicious. Also, Moldovan and Romanian press is barely covering the case, especially on TV. Again, I find this a very suspicious thing, and I'll tell you why. Because Romanian press reports on Romanians or Moldovans who disappear or are killed in other countries. So they do report on these cases because they are still Romanian citizens. However, somehow Madalina's case is simply ignored. It's only very recently that they've started to report a bit more, which is very coincidental with the time Christopher's family started speaking out, and part of Diana's family as well. I think that the only reason is because of the public outrage, specifically pointing the fingers at them, and they had no choice but to say something. I'm saying about the families. The FBI released more photos of Madalina Cojocari on 23rd of December.
Tonight, a Romanian journalist talks with me about how the Madalina Cojocari case is being covered in Eastern Europe. She also provides more insight into the Moldovan side of Madalina's family. This as Christopher Palmiter's family breaks its silence on the 11-year-old's disappearance. Josefina Pascal is an investigative journalist in Romania. She says Madalina's case is getting some news coverage there, but not a lot. Pascal says Diana Cojocari's family are very well-known and well-connected musicians in Moldova.
Her family is traditional, Christian Orthodox values. You can tell from their imagery.
She wonders why Diana's siblings and mother haven't said anything about the case, and she wants to know what Diana talked about with her family when she told investigators she called them to tell them Madalina was missing.
Her family has the knowledge, the power, the connections to really get involved in this.
Pascal has this message for Diana.
Diana, nu contează ce s-a întâmplat. Poate a fost o scăpare de moment. Trebuie să faci ceea ce e corect pentru tine. The only honest and normal thing to do at this point, because the truth will be found out either way, is for her to be honest.
Diana Cojocari and Christopher Palmiter will be back in court on December 28th for bond hearings. If Diana posts bond, she will be required to wear an electronic monitor.
Also today, a woman claiming to be Diana Cojocari's sister gave an interview to a Romanian reporter. The woman's voice was distorted and she was not named in the interview, but it was aired on a Romanian TV station. The alleged sister claims that Diana told her she woke up the day of November 23rd. That was the day that Diana said that she last saw Madalina, and that she felt drugged. She was vomiting, had nausea and dizziness. She said she went to Madalina's room, and that's when she saw that Madalina was missing. Diana says that she didn't tell the police right away because she was afraid of her husband, Christopher Palmiter. Diana says she looked for Madalina herself and that eventually her sister persuaded her to contact the police. Romanian journalist Josefina Pascal talked with us tonight about that interview and how it's being received in Moldova and Romania.
And they're insulting her. I'm not gonna, say what they're saying, but they're insulting her and they don't believe it's true and that she should tell the truth, that she's no real mother. No real mother would hide this kind of thing. If you wake up drugged or feeling, druggish and your child's missing, you're gonna report to the police.
Now, we have repeatedly tried to contact Diana's sister as well. We have not gotten a response back yet.
Tonight, we have new pictures of Madalina Cojocari to show you. The FBI released these new photos today of the missing 11-year-old girl. Her mother and stepfather remain behind bars tonight, and a Romanian journalist sheds more light on the couple's history. The FBI released these new photos today of 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari. In a tweet, the agency wrote, "Earlier this week, we told you Madalina loves horses. You can see the pure joy she feels when she takes her plastic ponies to the beach, and she enjoys riding the real pony named Rain." A push to keep the missing girl in mind one day before Christmas Eve. Her mother, Diana Cojocari, remains in the Mecklenburg County Jail. So does her stepfather, Christopher Palmiter. Both are held on a felony charge of failure to report Madalina missing. Palmiter's Facebook page mysteriously updating Friday afternoon with a new profile picture and a wipe of other information. On Diana's Facebook page, Romanian journalist Josefina Pascal says this of some of the posts.
A lot of videos in which she's rambling in Russian, in English, and Romanian about violence, about self-knowledge.
Cojocari participated in an Eastern European weight loss TV show in 2014. Here, she shows off her ring, and here, a brief glimpse of her with a young child, presumably Madalina. Pascal says part of the TV show was filmed before Palmiter proposed to Cojocari.
They didn't know each other before the engagement, so all of this was, kind of abrupt and sudden. You meet a guy online, he's like 40 years older than you, he comes to Moldova, you suddenly get engaged.
Palmiter's family released this handwritten letter Thursday asking for continued support finding Madalina. Diana's mother still not saying anything.
Her family has the knowledge, the power, the connections to really get involved in this.
Another very suspicious thing is Christopher's and Diana's social media accounts. Christopher's Facebook page mysteriously updated with a new profile picture and a removal of other information. This was done after Christopher was arrested whilst he's still in jail. So someone has access to his accounts, in my opinion. Not only that, but in my opinion, he gave access to someone outside to get rid of all photos with Madalina or any other stuff which could potentially look bad for him. This is what I believe, and I think that it might be a family member. Also, there are no photos of Madalina on Diana's Facebook page. I did find a profile for Diana on the social media platform OK.ru, which is kind of like a Russian version of Facebook, if you like. There is some interesting stuff on there. She's got a couple of photos with Madalina there. But the weirdest thing is that her account was updated on the 14th of December, where she uploaded another weird video, and she last visited her profile on the 16th of December. And on December 17th, she was arrested. When she last visited her profile, she already knew that Madalina was missing. I mean, isn't that odd that she checks up her social media account, updating photos when she fully well knows that her 11-year-old is missing? I find it weird. And now, of course, after so much public outrage and finger pointing, on Thursday, 22nd of December, law enforcement released a handwritten letter from Madalina's family. A woman who says she's Madalina's cousin says that the letter was written by the Palmiter family. The cousin also wrote, quote, "Our family needs your thoughts, prayers, and hopefully your support in sharing this in hopes we find our beautiful Madalina. Our family has some very heavy hearts and are still trying to wrap our heads around the reality that Madalina is missing. Madalina, the missing 11-year-old beautiful girl below, is my cousin who has been missing since November 23rd. We believe she could be somewhere between Michigan and North Carolina. Please take the time to look at her picture and keep a watchful eye out for her. If you see her or even think it might be her, please contact your local authorities. Please share this so we can get as many eyes as we can out there searching for our beautiful girl. She needs everything we got." End of quote. I'm really curious to know why they believe that she could be somewhere between Michigan and North Carolina. Is it because of Christopher's alleged trip there? I mean, I don't know, it's all just very, very strange. The statement from the Palmiter family allegedly says in part that they are devastated and shocked that Madalina is missing. They thank everyone for their support and ask people to keep sharing Madalina's missing poster. And to me, this letter feels very ingenuine, cold and forced, really. Quote, "We love Madalina and are shocked by these circumstances. This is something no child or family should ever have to endure. We are desperate to find her right now. She needs all of our help. We ask for your continued positive support in sharing far and wide the posters and pictures of Madalina." End of quote. And that's why they didn't even share her missing poster before, because they are so very desperate to find her. I'm sorry, but I just don't buy it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Diana's sister and mother still have not said anything. Madalina Cojocari and Christopher Palmiter will be in court next Wednesday, December 28th, for a bond hearing. If Diana posts bond, she will have to wear an electronic monitor. According to neighbors, the family was seen lighting a fire and torching sofa cushions and other items that burned for days in their backyard in the days after Madalina disappeared. Neighbors recall seeing flames and smoke billowing from the yard of the Victoria Bay Drive home in late November, prompting calls to police and the fire department in Cornelius. Cornelius Fire Chief Gary Barbie confirmed the report of the blaze but refused to discuss any specifics. A neighbor who saw investigators searching the home told dailymail.com that they spent hours outside. Quote, "They took all kinds of samples from the fire pit area," he said. "I guess they were trying to figure out if they burned anything of substance there. It's a gross feeling to know something like this happened in our neighborhood," he added. "It's very suspicious that the mother didn't report the girl missing for 2 weeks." Another neighbor told dailymail.com that the fire didn't raise suspicion at the time because nobody knew that Madalina was missing. Quote, "If you don't know the context that a girl was missing, it's kind of a nothing burger of a call," he said. "At the time, it was more of a fire safety or a permit type of issue." End of quote. And I believe it was on Tuesday, 20th of December, that authorities released the surveillance video of Madalina. They said it independently confirms when Madalina was last seen. The video released shows Madalina getting off a school bus at her bus stop at 4:59 p.m. on 21st of November 2022. So basically this is the last time that Madalina was seen by anyone outside of the family. We also have somewhat of a timeline, if I can call it that, but I must say that, you know, this is according to Christopher and Diana, so I'm not sure how reliable it is. According to his arrest report, Christopher said he believed the last time he saw Madalina was on November 16, 1 week before his Michigan trip. And this is very interesting to me. I did point out earlier, how is it possible that they live in the same house and he doesn't see her for a week? Don't they have dinner? Don't they sit in the living room relaxing? It's not like they live in a palace where, you know, they get lost in so many rooms. So, okay, anyway, let's say that he says he last sees her on November 16. Then on November 21, she's seen in the school bus at 4:59 p.m. On the 15th of December, Diana tells a school resource officer that Madalina went into her room ready for bed on November 23rd when she and Christopher argued. On November 24th, Thanksgiving, Christopher drives to the house in Michigan to grab some stuff. In the meantime, Diana goes to check on Madalina at 11:30 a.m. and she's not in her room. Diana says that she waited until 2 days later, 26th of November at 7 p.m. when Christopher returned home before asking him where Madalina was. As if phones don't exist to give him a call or whatever, he says that he doesn't know where Madalina is. She tells him the same thing. He asks Diana if she hid Madalina anywhere. She said that she didn't, and then she asks him the same thing. Both said no, but there was no report made of her missing. And you know, I feel like this story is just so stupid. I don't even know. It seems so childish. Apparently, from November 26 through the next 3 weeks, Christopher said that he spoke with Diana several times about where Madalina was. They both said they didn't know where she was, but they didn't report her missing either. Madalina hasn't been to school since November 21st, so the last time she was seen on the school bus CCTV. On December 12, the truancy packet was left. On December 14, Diana called the school for a meeting, and on the same day she posted that weird video on ok.ru. On December 15, Diana went to school without Madalina, although she said that she would bring her. She told school Madalina had been missing since November 23rd, and then the school contacted police. On December 16, Diana visited her OK.ru profile again because, you know, that was very important. On December 17, both Christopher and Diana are arrested for failing to report Madalina's disappearance. On December 20th, a prayer vigil was held for Madalina. Around 200 people came together and the community is demanding answers after she disappeared and wasn't reported missing for 3 weeks. Quote, "Of course it's been beyond unbelievable," says Leanne Stephan. Leanne came with her granddaughter Cameron, who became close friends with Madalina in the 2nd grade. She was a precious child. She loved horses, she loved kitties. Her and my granddaughter shared in that bond and just hit it off. We can't give up hope, and I know we are all praying, and I believe our God is big enough to do miracles. So I pray that this has a good ending." End of quote. On 22nd of December, a second vigil was held to support Madalina and the efforts to find her. The vigil started at 7 p.m. at the Intune Soul Community Center. Jules Wyatt, the owner of the center, said that her heart hurts for Madalina. Jules prepared candles for people to light, igniting prayer and hope for Madalina's safe return. Quote, "The only 2 people that we know that she's connected with are in jail and she slipped through their fingers one way or another. So to know there is compassion and there is empathy toward her from a family member honestly brought me a deep breath of relief." End of quote. As a part of this candlelight vigil, participants wrote notes to Madalina to send positive, hopeful energy her way in hopes that she will return safe and sound. Nicole Palliam and her daughter Fifi left a note as well. Quote, "We said, stay strong, you are very loved and protected. Love, Nicole and Fifi." End of quote.
A small group gathered Thursday night in the Cornelius town square to hold a vigil for 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari. The girl has been missing for a month.
I keep thinking about, how cold it is outside, how wet it's been outside. Where is she? What's going on with her? And we just don't know. We just don't know anything at this point.
It's the hope many in Cornelius have, including Jules Wyatt.
My heart hurts for her.
She owns Intune Soul Sangha Healing and Meditation Community Center, and tonight, healing is what they hope a vigil will bring.
It's important that we use our choices and we use our energy to let her know that we're advocating for her, to let her know that she is loved, to let her know that she is good.
She's preparing 200 candles for people to light tonight, igniting prayer and hope for Madalina's safe return.
When we find her, she will be protected.
Madalina was last seen publicly getting off her school bus on November 21st. On Wednesday night, our cameras were there as crime scene investigators entered Madalina's house, leaving with several evidence bags and carrying out a box. We checked, but search warrants weren't available today, so it's still unclear what they took. Nobody was seen at the house today. This poster on a neighbor's door showed her missing child poster with the hashtag #FindMadalina. Cornelius Mayor Pro Tem Dave Gilroy says investigators are working tirelessly to make that happen as this community rallies around this precious little girl.
Nothing matters other than finding this little girl safe and sound, hopefully. And there's nothing our community can do other than hope and pray and allow these extraordinary professionals to get the work done.
The FBI in Michigan and North Carolina, the State Bureau of Investigation, and the Cornelius Police Department are investigating Madalina's disappearance. I'm not exactly sure what happened to Madalina, but I believe Diana and Christopher know exactly what happened to her. I also tend to believe that their families also know something, that's why they are so quiet, but this is just my view. I do feel like because both of the families are so quiet, maybe it's true that Diana is a mail order bride type of thing, and perhaps Madalina sadly is a payment of some kind, which could explain why Diana didn't report Madalina missing, knowing exactly what happened to her, which could also explain why the families were not talking, removing all photos from their social media accounts, and even accessing Diana's and Christopher's accounts to remove traces that Madalina even existed, which is just so sad. It really is heartbreaking. But it could also explain why Romanian and Moldovan media didn't really share Madalina's story. Truth be told, as I think we all know, if it was a network in Moldova, it wouldn't be only in Moldova. I think it would happen anywhere in the world. If it was a network in Moldova, some higher people would have to be involved to allow it to happen and to cover it up. But again, I'm saying, and I have to stress, this is just my opinion. I honestly have no idea what happened. It's also a possibility that there was domestic violence in the relationship. When she was arrested, in Diana's mugshot, you can see a bruise on her forehead. It could be that Christopher did something to Madalina. Diana tried to get in between them and she got hit. Maybe that's why sofa cushions were being burned in the garden to get rid of potential evidence. Maybe that's why Christopher went to Michigan to get rid of Madalina's body. Maybe that's why Diana said she last saw Madalina on 23rd of November to buy some time. Maybe they both didn't expect the school to come knocking on the door and they thought they got away with it. I do think, however, that if Diana truly wanted to report her daughter, she could have done it one way or another. It could also be that in some twisted way, Diana believed that her daughter can reach enlightenment by stepping in another realm, spiritual stuff, you know, finding enlightenment after that, like all the videos that she posted on Facebook, including the one justifying violence and saying you need to embrace it because violence is not bad. I don't know, it just drives me insane. There are so many things running through my mind right now, and I'm telling you again, she's giving me some Lori Vallow vibes. I just don't know, but you know, this is my opinion. I truly hope that Madalina is somewhere alive and well and she will be found, but quite honestly, I'm not so sure that's the case. In most of these cases, when children go missing and they are not reported missing, is usually because the parents or one of the parents know exactly what happened. And before I give you all the information about Madalina from the missing person poster, I just want to quickly give you the latest updates. I found an article today, 29th of December, as I'm recording this video. It's about the bond hearing that they were supposed to have yesterday on 28th of December. Well, as it turns out, the court hearing was cancelled and they remain in custody at Mecklenburg County Jail on separate bonds. In court, the judge noted that Madalina's mother and stepfather have been ordered to surrender their passports as a condition of their release if they post bond. Like I said, Diana's bond is set at $250,000 and Christopher's bond is set at $200,000. Local police have been searching for Madalina Cojocari for 12 days along with the help of the FBI and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. Quote, "We know everyone has a lot of questions," Captain Jennifer Thompson said in a video posted on Facebook.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Jennifer Thompson of the Cornelius Police Department. First, on behalf of our command staff, our town manager, and elected officials, I want to say thank you to all the agencies who are assisting us in our search for Madalina. Over the past 12 days, the Cornelius Police Department has led a massive investigation to find 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari. One of the challenges in this case, simply put, we were not notified she was gone, a delay of 3 weeks. School officials had repeatedly tried to contact Madalina's parents. Finally, on December 15th, Madalina's mother walked into school and said her daughter was missing. We immediately called in partners from across the state and from the FBI. Since that Thursday, nearly 2 weeks ago, hundreds of agents, detectives, analysts, and other employees surged. In cooperation with the district attorney's office, we arrested Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer. Thankfully, the state of North Carolina has a law that makes it illegal if someone fails to report a missing child to law enforcement. Here are some of the specifics. Investigators have developed and followed nearly 250 leads spanning across state lines and across the globe. We have interviewed hundreds of people in North Carolina and other states, and again, across the globe. We went door to door to at least 245 homes, focusing on the Victoria Bay community where Madalina lives. We canvassed businesses and scoured through hours of surveillance video from all over the area. We also led land and water searches around Lake Cornelius as a precautionary measure. Investigators obtained multiple search warrants for Madalina's home to make sure we legally gathered each and every possible piece of evidence to find Madalina. We know everyone has a lot of questions. We also have questions and are doing everything we can with proper legal authority to get those answers. We know you understand us sharing investigative details could harm our efforts in finding Madalina. The Cornelius Police Department is so grateful for the tremendous outpouring of support. This is a serious case of a child whose parents clearly are not telling us everything they know. Please call us if you have eyewitness information. Thank you for your time and efforts to help us find Madalina.
The update comes as Diana and Christopher were scheduled to appear in court, like I mentioned. Along with surrendering their passports upon posting bond, Christopher will also be required to wear an electronic ankle monitoring bracelet as part of his bond conditions. Two women, one wearing a furry brown Russian style hat, came for Diana's hearing. So she does have family. Now I'm not sure if the family traveled from Moldova to the US or she already had family in the US. I'm not sure about that. But as it turns out, someone from her family did show up in the court, in the hearing. But the women, likely relatives of Diana, shooed off media as they rushed out of the courtroom afterwards. Yeah, shooing the media because obviously they are still not talking. Investigators received multiple search warrants for her home to make sure they legally gather each and every piece of evidence to find her. And this is basically the latest updates that we had. So they had a court hearing, a bond hearing, and this was cancelled. We still don't know a new date for another hearing. For now, I'll leave you with the information about Madalina. Madalina Cojocari is 4 feet 10 inches tall, has dark brown hair and weighs about 90 pounds. She was last seen wearing jeans, pink, purple and white Adidas shoes and a white t-shirt and jacket. If you have any information concerning the whereabouts of Madalina Cojocari, please contact the Cornelius Police Department at 704-892-7773. Again, the phone number is 704-892-7773. You may also contact your local FBI office, the nearest American embassy or consulate, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. You can also submit tips anonymously. Thank you guys so much for watching and staying with me for today's video. Please make sure that you share Madalina's missing poster everywhere you can, so we can bring this in front of more and more people. Maybe someone sees something and you know, it will make it that much easier for the police to find out what happened with Madalina, or hopefully to find her safe and well. For now, take care, stay safe. I will see you in the next video. And before you go, if you are interested in any of the makeup that I use for today's video, for today's look, all of the products are linked in the description under this video. I also do take case suggestions, so if you have any case in particular you want me to cover, just leave any information you have in the comments under this video. Thank you again. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!